Okay, it looks like we are live. Welcome to Consciousness Conversations with Naren and Raj. How you doing this morning, Pops, or this afternoon?
I'm pretty good. I was just talking to you about it. When you get to be old, a lot of your conversation, a lot of what you deal with is your physical deterioration and the realities of how you have to deal with that. But it also has, there's like any life, there's one of the nicest things about getting old is, in a way, life, for me at least, life gets simpler and simpler. I'm not in a relationship with a woman, which I was just thinking last night about Dianita, the woman my last big love affair ended a few years ago, and how the sex was so great and her love was so beautiful, but the challenges were so profound with fear and the anxiety, mostly on her part. But I certainly had my own share of fear and anxiety. But we were dealing a lot with her issues, and looking at that, I still miss her, but couldn't do that thing again now. Simple peace is so important to me now. I look out the window now. It's kind of a cloudy day. I look out the window at the fruit orchard. Past the blooms now, the leaves are coming out, growing. Some of them are starting with little bits of fruit. Just being with the simplicity and the beauty of the seasons. Coming into spring, summer. Spring's a little later here than farther south. But just beautiful to be with.
Yeah, it's gorgeous country up there. I hope we get up there this summer and get to experience some of that.
I hope you do too.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful place to spend some time. The nature is so lovely.
Yeah, sure is.
So I wanted to acknowledge you. If anybody out there who's watching, you can look. When I first started talking to Raj just a few minutes ago, the window behind him was completely dark. And now it's getting lighter and lighter. It's 7 hours earlier in Australia than it is here on the west coast of the United States. And so for those of you out there, just to recognize what his level of committed energy is to this sort of stuff, that he is up there and doing it at 5 a.m. after already doing some other work that he had to do because of West Coast time. I just wanted to really acknowledge and express my appreciation for Raj and what he brings to this whole dance.
Appreciate that acknowledgement. Yeah, it's thanks, Pops. It's been an interesting journey to make it work to come to Australia and celebrate Leela's 50th birthday last weekend and be with the girls, Tegan and Disha, and spend some time with Chris, getting up at 4 a.m. here and doing calls at 4 a.m. in the morning. But it's definitely been worth it and good to play with different levels of commitment. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I do look a little tired this morning. Some mornings I'm a little bit more up than others. So welcome.
You don't really do a lot of caffeine, do you?
Not as a wake up kind of thing. I like a cup of coffee every once in a while. But it's not my jam in terms of waking up. So I'm kind of grateful for that, actually.
I can see how you would be. I'm a caffeine addict, as you know. I've got my very strong cup of coffee here. This is my first cup of coffee of the day.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I drink tea, so some might say that is But
Black tea?
yeah, but I could go
But
with rosé.
black tea has 1/10 of the caffeine of regular of coffee.
Mm. So yeah, I'm on 1/10 the fuel.
Very
So,
fun.
shall we?
So,
Yeah, shall we do a little grounding and get into the
yeah,
show?
sure,
I'm going to
sure.
shift my position a little bit so that I can have my computer on my lap. 1 second. I'm going to get my little... Here we go. All right, take it away.
All right. Sit up straight and close your eyes. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. Your chair's a little squeaky, so just maybe be
It
conscious of...
is, isn't it? I need to put some 3-in-1 on this thing.
Yeah.
Just as soon as we close our eyes, if we're habitual about this thing, our attention goes inward. We cut off our constant looking around, and our attention is directed inward. And when we have that inward attention, we can immediately become aware of the breath. The breath as it comes into the body and goes out of the body. Breathing in, breathing out, just doing nothing. Just letting our attention rest on the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. If a thought comes, let it pass, notice it. Bring your attention back to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Bring the attention to breath breathing into the belly. Just breathing into the belly. And then letting it go, breathing out. Breathing in to the belly. Letting it go, breathing out. Breathing in life. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing in life. Breathing out, letting go. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
That was so nice.
This actually reminded me, what we're doing reminded me of something that struck me this morning while I was meditating. Look, and let me just give me a minute to see if it wants to come back. Just keep watching the breath while we wait to see if existence has anything to offer in this moment, besides silence and breath. I guess I'll have to wait. It's not coming back. So,
All right. Your image is very interesting. You have this bright light shining behind you. It's like illuminating your... It's very cool. Okay, so I had a question. And actually, just so you know, Vistar said, and obviously your choice to answer or not, tell us how it was being with Osho, the man in his physical proximity.
I can talk about that. Let's
Okay.
save that toward the end.
Okay, great. So we'll get to that, Vistar. So I was just curious, being around these little lovely nieces uh, um, it would seem that evolution would progressively have us be more conscious, and maybe that's happening. But it sure seems like there's a heavy emphasis on the ego and not a lot of emphasis. However, I do notice that there's just like this younger generation is like light years ahead, like they're where I am now at age 20, in terms of their understanding of things and their seeming level of consciousness. Do you have anything to say about consciousness and evolution?
Sure. What's really important to recognize is that, I don't know what the image is. You've seen an image of the Earth with the planets going around it in different paces, different directions, all that stuff. There are all sorts of cycles happening at once. All sorts of cycles happening at once, which is why there is not simply a single factor analysis of how it's happening and how it's going on. On the broadest level, existence is unfolding. Consciousness is expanding. Just that's how it is. It's nothing to do with us in the sense of nothing we're doing. We are the effect rather than the cause. But then again, when you get to the point where there's no two, there's only one. We are part of the cause, part of the effect, part of the resistance because of the other elements beyond just the unfolding. We have lives, many lives. Each of those is a cycle. Within the life, we have major periods of our life. We're children, then we're teenagers, then we're young adults, then we're middle-aged, then we're old, then we're old, and we're dead. So there's those cycles. Then there's cycles smaller than that. There's the seasons of the year. And those seasons have effects far beyond what we see in terms of weather. As the months go by, astrologically, some people don't buy astrology, but certainly there's influences. Things happen. I don't know whether you like that system or not. There's things that are happening. There's no question that there's influences from the planets, There's tides. The moon affects the tides. All of those things affect us, our moods, and then we have the day. The day goes from morning till night. And each day is a cycle. And within that cycle, waking and sleeping is a powerful, powerful cycle, being awake and being asleep, being awake. Every breath. Osho said every breath is like a little life and death. We're breathing in life, and then we're letting it go. Breathing in life, and then letting it go. Which reminds me of what I had thought earlier, and it came up for me earlier, and that is the key to everything in terms of transformation is acceptance. The key to everything is acceptance. Of course, awareness. But acceptance is the biggest single element in whether we are in awareness or not. Because when we're if we're not in acceptance, we're in resistance. And when the only way we can be in resistance is when we're in the ego. When we're in the ego, we're in resistance. When we're in resistance, we're trying to control life, try to control the moment, try to control what's happening. And all of the energy we put into the mind and then put into those actions is energy that's not available to awareness. Can't do both at once. There's some overlap, but you really can't do both at once. And that which you give energy to grows. So there's like acceptance and intention at the same time. Acceptance of what is happening and intention to transform it. Again, seeming paradox, but they're not. They're complementaries. To be in total acceptance, but to have the intention to be as aware as possible. And to let that intention carry our attention. The intention to wake up, the intention to be present, the intention to love. Let those carry our attention away from the mind and into awareness and presence. So we're part of this whole big unfolding with all of the other stuff that's passing, you know. The Taoists talk about being in the flow, right? Be in the flow. Be like water, the Taoists say again and again, which means flow. Don't be in resistance. Another way of saying it is harmony. Be in harmony. Flow. Seek the flow. Because in most of our lives, we're so pushed around and so conditioned, and we're so stressed and so pushing and pulling and resisting. We have no fucking idea what flow might look like. But we have experiences then in a few moments, like if we're just being with a lover and things in those moments of beauty where we're just maybe making love, maybe just sitting together, maybe taking a walk, where you really have a feel that you're flowing with love. Love is flowing within you. We can tune into that. Even if we don't experience, flow sounds like movement. But the movement of flow basically really operates on a very, first it operates energetically. Energy is trying to flow all the time, coming up through our bodies, trying to flow all the time. And our resistance, our anxiety stops that flow. If we just relax and be present, flow will happen by itself. Like Osho said, in the spring, the grass grows by itself. So there's that flow always seeking to happen, and our mind is always in the way of that. But our habit of that is so strong that it really takes time for us to shift our attention and to be more sensitive to flow. And the more we can just be quiet, the more we can be in tune with the things like nature. Nature's always in flow, always in harmony. Even when there's a storm, there's a harmony to it. It's doing what storms do, you know. It's in its own flow. And that's like life, you know. Sometimes the flow of life is a storm. Sometimes the flow of life is a lake. But we can only get in touch with that by tuning in to ourselves, to the things around us, and in what's natural. To learn to do that. And that's why meditation is important. But if we bring awareness to the meditation itself, that's a practice to develop meditation. But if we're specifically tuning in to be aware of flow, our own flow, what is natural and what is unnatural, The mind and ego are always against stopping flow. It's just the nature of things. When I mean the mind, I mean the unconscious mind, the ego, that sort of stuff. Not sometimes the mind. Flow happens. Flow. An aspect of flow is understanding, creativity, compassion, presence. And those things will happen if we're just present. Creativity, for example, is really a great example. Creativity comes to us. And if we're anxious and thinking and this and that, creativity doesn't happen. Creativity has to have space to happen. You got to sit down with your guitar and give some space to it to happen. If you're pushing, you can learn, you can play some chords, you can play some songs, you can do all that stuff, but creativity can't really flow. You can't really feel your own harmony. So that's what was coming.
Love that. Love that. I look forward to our conversation later today around bringing some of this work into the workplace. This, one of the things is around creativity and how we can support more of that, and teach people more about that through workplace environment, because mostly we're stressed out and, overworked and worried about failing, and that's present everywhere in our lives. But
well, speak for yourself, Jack. Busyness happens. I mean, if you're in the world and doing worldly stuff, but Osho talked to her, said, be in the world, but not of it. Be in the world, but not of it. That's what these practices that I teach are for. To disengage from the ego, to disengage from the stress as an inner experience. So to be able to do your work and you can be more efficient, because you're not dealing with anxiety and stress and all of this stuff going on all the time. Just doing your work. Simply doing your work. If you cultivate a quality of awareness throughout the day, you will relax. You will become more relaxed, more creative, more effective and efficient. Mostly, we have sort of a belief that we have to be stressed. You and I have worked with this. That we have to be push, tense in order to make something happen. Well, that's unfortunately fucking true. But that's because we're trying to make something happen out of a place of tension. So if you're trying to make something happen, then you have to have tension because you're not allowing it to unfold. If you simply relax and just be present, give your attention to it, give your energy to it, then creativity will come, work can happen. Who was it? Jack Kornfield, who's a wonderful, wonderful teacher, used to say, pain happens, suffering is optional. Pain happens in our life, but stress and anxiety and all of that's suffering. That's suffering. That's not pain, that's suffering. And we create it ourselves by creating tension and living in tension. If we can allow flow, then it can all happen beautifully. Now, again, it comes back to where we started this, acceptance. If you're not willing to accept what existence has in mind, if you're not willing to accept what happens when you lend your energy and creativity to whatever is there, If you insist that it be something else, well, you got to live in tension because that's the way it is. So I can come back to the difference between intention and attention. You can have an intention of creating something, doing something, accomplishing something, and give your attention to it. And you can do that without stress. But we have this habit of stress and this way of doing things, and we believe it's the only fucking way it can happen, but it's not.
Yeah, it's been actually one of the most profound shifts for me. And I think it's why I, got a bit emotional last week, was that I was just so moved by the amount of energy that's available by tapping into that. I feel like I'm working harder, not harder. I don't know. I'm doing more, have more energy for it, more creative, getting things done more quickly, more efficiently. And that I'm not driving by stress. I literally used to get up in the morning in fear and just like go. I'd like move super quick, and I'd like just have the end of the day as my driver, like then I can relax, and somewhere around age 50, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And it's taken some time, obviously, to generate some new habits. And I'm juggling like 5 different big projects now, whereas just one project in the past would put me over the top. And a friend of mine said to me the other day, he said, "Do you think you're getting smarter? It seems like you're getting smarter."
That's true. Awareness is intelligence. It isn't awareness adds to the intelligence, whatever is there, of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, our mind is like a sports announcer. It does a lot of different things. But one thing it does is we have an understanding that comes through awareness. We have an understanding that comes through awareness. The more open we are, the more aware we are, the more we can actually understand. Because we're not thinking about stuff which distracts us from being present. We're actually present to what's going on, so we can just see what's in front of us. And we can see when we see what's in front of us, we can see the subtleties of it, the depth of it. We can see a lot more when we bring ourselves present. Well, then so we have more understanding. The mind is its way. It immediately goes, oh, I know this. Now I know that. I know this. I know that. I know this. I know that. Whatever the new thing is, I know this about this. I know that about that. I know this. I know this. I know this. I know this. And it does it from ego to make itself seem smarter. But in fact, it's dumber. But it's what it does. The mind can cogitate, but it can't really create from nothing. The most the mind can do is put 2 and 2 and 6 together and see what's there, and variations of that. And because more or less we have some energy coming through us all the time, we have some creativity can happen. More people are different than less people. Some are more and some are less. Even if they're not meditators or doing anything, some people are simply more creative because they're more in tune with that part of themselves. Again, coming back to flow, coming back to tune. I told you this story before. Paul Simon, I saw he was on his last concert tour, and he told a story about Sound of Silence. He wrote Sound of Silence when he was like 20 years old. And he said, I had no idea what that song was really about. I had no idea what the depth of it was. I didn't at that time. So it's something that just came through me. And that's the nature of creativity. It comes through. And that's what we're looking to make space for. Because creativity is energy. Energy is creativity. I mean, creativity is an aspect of energy. As it flows, it creates It can create its creativity, its understanding, its awareness. I think we're running out of time, and maybe I should answer the stars inquiry.
Sure. Let me just say one thing about what you just said, and then we'll go there. Basically, I love this, and it's just what a gift to learn how to, as part of all of this work, to be able to tap into your creativity and let that flow. And whether it's at home, in your relationships, and in work, whatever you're doing, just being able to tap into that and then being able to let it flow and see what comes. So thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
And taking it in and doing some work.
Yeah. So, the stars question.
What was it like being with Osho when he was alive? Something like that?
Let's see what he said. He said, how was it being with Osho, the man in his physical proximity?
What was it like? Again, that wants a comparison. That wants concepts. My experience of it, to characterize it, was that it was the most amazing gift you could possibly imagine. They say just being on the planet at the same time as a master with the power of Osho is an amazing gift. To actually be, they say the master calls the disciple, not the disciple finding the master. To be called to the master and then to be there with him for fucking years, to sit with him and be in his energy and hear the sound of his voice and see the beauty of his grace. And to get that energy just from being close to him, just that incredible energy from existence that he channeled. I've described him as a step-down transformer from the power, from the energy of existence. He could take it in and hold it. And then he could let it go to us, let it come to us. He could get thousands of people stoned just from being with him. It's the most incredible gift I could ever imagine. I miss him every day, I miss his body. I miss his beauty. I miss being in that energy. But I also really understand that he had to go. I mean, if he hadn't gone, I'd still be fucking sitting with him. And he needed us to start cultivating our own little candle, start cultivating our own light and sharing it. He also said before he left his body, he said, when I leave, he had really had a lot of illnesses and a lot of problems. He was in pain all the time. He said, when I'm gone, I'll be more with you than I am now. Because my body is a limitation. All of these illnesses and stuff are limitations. When I'm out of the body, I'll just be energy and awareness, and I'll be able to be with you wherever you are. And my experience is that's how it is. And whenever he said, look in your heart and I will be there. And my experience is that is still true. And being with him in the body was just a different thing, in the sense that I certainly don't channel that kind of energy. So sitting with him, I got a chance to be around it. But the fact of it is, if you meditate and if you do the work, you continue to do the work, your own channel, everybody, whatever your channel is, it gets bigger. The more you can heal the wounds, let go of resistance and desire, open the space, the more energy that comes. It's just how it is. It's like a pipe. It's like a pipe that hasn't been cleaned, and crap is built up in it for lifetimes and lifetimes. Meditation is like a little bit of a cleanser that bit by bit, chunk by chunk, moves that stuff out of the way. And the more you free up the energy to come through, the more powerful it becomes in cleaning out that crap.
I love that. Meditation is an energy pipe cleaner.
There you go.
Cool. All right. Well,
it's more like a flow of water. It's as a pipe cleaner though. I was a good pipe cleaner. My dad used to smoke a pipe when he did that. But it's like there was no water coming through, and it took a long time just for the dirt to get wet, and then for it to start to break up, and for the flow to start as the water cleans it out. And water is energy. Energy is like water.
Okay, got it. All right. Well, what a wonderful way to start the morning here, or whatever time it is for you, either watching this live or on replay. Anything else you want to say today, Pops?
Well, this is like a new subject, but I've been thinking about starting to just do this once every 2 weeks. Because especially, for doing it on a Friday afternoon, it ties up every Friday at this hour in the middle of the day. So I've been thinking about doing it only every 2 weeks. So I'm going to put that out to you, put that out to anybody who's out there, and see how it feels.
Great. Okay, yeah, let's explore that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, good. So let me just share a little bit about how to be in touch with Naren or myself about the work that we do. And you can find more about Naren's work at narenconsciousnesscoaching.com. Naren leads one-on-one coaching, both with individuals, executives. He actually works with my business consultancy, working with executives to help free them up and do the deep work that is often needed to fulfill on their missions, on their visions. And it's amazing what I see happening with the executives he's working with. He also does workshops and public speaking events. You can check out some upcoming speaking events through his Facebook page, Naren on the Road. Anything upcoming that you want to talk about, Naren? Do you have some things going on in Oregon upcoming, I think? Is that happening?
Yeah, well, on June 27th, there's a talk being sponsored by the Oregon Historical Society about what happened in Oregon. And I'm going to be one of 4 people, but we'll have more time because it was like life. Those people were mostly antagonistic toward our existence, so they're going to restate their position, and I'm going to talk about what the law actually required and what it was like being there.
Interesting. And they can find out about that on your Naren on the Road Facebook page.
I don't think I have it there because it's not my thing, and I'm not really putting a lot of energy into promoting it because it's not my thing. And it's probably going to be sold out anyway. But if you live in Portland, Oregon, that's where it is. Just Google the Oregon Historical Society and you can get tickets from them.
Okay, great. We may even be up there at that time.
How about that?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, great. That's that. And yeah, I've mentioned a few times that Narendra and I work together in different modalities. We do a bigger, all-encompassing business consulting program called the 90-Day Game, where we both bring business principles, practices, and these teachings into the workplace to help companies attain their objectives with more ease and more rapidity. And we're launching this new program called Unleash You University, where we're really focused on your employees, your team members, and bringing this into their lives in a way that impacts tremendously the workforce, but also they can bring it out into their own lives. So you're really gifting them while you're gifting the company. Anything you want to add, Pops, about any of that?
Just that I actually do, usually I will jump in and say some things, but there are some changes going on, new programs, new things that Raj is working on, and I'm working with him on some of them. And what I can tell you is that everybody who works with Raj shows very significant improvement in their efficiency and earnings. And everybody there has the opportunity to be more creative in their life and in their work, to make choices that support them getting what they want and being more relaxed and effective in their work. So it's really good stuff for anybody who's out there looking, who has a little company or a little business or a big company, that the work is very powerful and very useful.
Awesome, great. I look forward to our call later today to look at building more of that out. And I put the links in the Facebook comments if you want to explore any of those offerings. So have a fantastic weekend if you are watching this on the weekend or Friday live today. And thanks again, Pops, for making the time today. And everyone will let you know if we're shifting to an every other week kind of flow.
I love you, kid.
Love you too, Pops. Bye-bye, everybody.
Namaste.